before I let y'all see this Fanmade chapter, I don't really know if anybody has any high expectations for mine, but I'm just gonna put out in the air right now that this one doesn't have voice acting and that this doesn't have player cards. I have been becoming kind of burnt out on Daybreak content recently. Not to say that I don't want to make it, because I love making Daybreak content. It's just I have to find something that fits what I enjoy, like killer guides and I guess VC clips now, if VC servers are even high enough. But aside from those two, it can be very difficult for me to get out a Daybreak video because I'm just burnt out in general. That's probably the main thing. But I digress. That's something I wanted to get out. I don't want to waste y'all's time. TLDR, there's no voice acting, no player cards. Backstories and abilities are still there, and I will still have the voice lines for the characters up there. They just won't be voiced. And that applies to Chapter 4 as well, as Bloodsport has taken up the majority of my time, aside from content creation when I'm actually free. So yeah, if y'all have still stuck around, I genuinely appreciate you. Love y'all. Stay creative. I'll see you in your van. y'all. I hope you enjoyed this fan-made chapter despite it being extremely different from the others. Now, what I want to mention for 6 and 7 is that I made these long before the Nocturnals update was announced, and I made these long before the Halloween skins and stuff were announced, like as far back as like October. Tazkior's alias was originally supposed to be the Survivalist, but I did not want to keep that because that's Diego's alias in the Nocturnals Daybreak 2 collaboration. But as far as their abilities and stuff are concerned, they have not changed from the last time I proofread them 2 or 3 months ago. Really, it should be like 3 months ago. But on these pictures I'm putting up as well, you will be able to see it all really started with the creation of a fictional solar system that I had done for an assignment. And then it just kind of spiraled off from there. I'm like, oh, I really like this, because the more I was taught more stuff about space, the more I became interested in space and like all this fun stuff. So then it went from the solar system to creating these 2 characters, who, although are kind of akin to like people from Earth, they aren't exactly like in in part of the backstory. You see that they partially speak their native language, but they still are educated on English. And then like planetary relations, like planetary diplomacies, it just kind of like branched off from there. And if you remember in my Void Shulk in-depth guide, I had mentioned my theory that nobody can be taken by the mist unless they are on Earth. And I applied that Daybreak 2 theory to this as well, where if Tazkior, Zorgon, and their entire team didn't travel, like make an expedition to Earth, they would have never been in the mist in the first place. They would have either starved in space or found some sort of other exoplanet. I also connected to the fact that after I had made the Void Shulk video and explained her lore, I realized that Hovians, it's a connection to Hovian planets, which are gas giants like Jupiter, Saturn, etc. So then I was like, oh, what if I incorporate the knowledge I learned from that? And then that all came full circle, where Tazkior, Zorgon, and Void Shulk kind of hate each other because terrestrial planets and Hovian planets have beef, because terrestrial planets have rock and all this water and fun stuff, while gas giants like Hovian planets have like ammonia and all of those things that kind of make it like you can't really walk on it like that. But it also explains that Void Shulk's old planet had 2 moons. That makes sense. In reality, though, it would probably be like 12 or more, if not like 80 or more, if her planet was originally a gas giant, like an actual giant. But I'm no scholar. I don't have a degree in astronomy, so it's not really my place to say that. But it just became this little deep dive of, oh, I actually enjoy learning about space. This is probably going to become a new fixation. And it just kept digging deeper and deeper. And then in terms of the character designs, Tazkior and Zorgon, Tazkior is the more, well, for Archangel culture, they're more reserved. But the idea of Archangel, going back to the characters, at first I was a little bit iffy on having Zorgon's arm be amputated, but I thought it would be an interesting design because we don't really have any characters in Daybreak that like have had an amputated limb. And I didn't want to do it because, oh, interesting character, oh, no plot relevance, he just lost an arm, oh, I did not want it to be like that. I wanted to have a clear and coherent reason, although it's pretty vague the way I put it in the lore like 2 months ago, but I still want to be able to put this thing out there. And when it comes to him as well, being a pilot and a high gen rusher with only 1 arm, I know that might not make sense to a lot of people, but you also gotta realize too, some people don't even need limbs to do stuff. Like this one artist I know, I forgot his name, but I follow him on Instagram. He has lost all control of his lower body, but he is able to draw outstandingly beautiful pictures with just his head and his mouth. He's able to control all of that digitally and traditionally. He is absolutely amazing. If I can find his name, I'll put it on screen. But it's like Zorgon is a type of character who's like, skip this, womp womp, I lost this thing, I'll still be able to do my stuff. He's still able to gauge movement on his spacecraft without having both arms, without having both hands. He's able to, I don't really know the word, but he's just able to navigate himself well. And even though normally an aerospace pilot is not supposed to leave their ship, they also have nowhere to go. So it's like, what else do you do? But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and hope this tangent doesn't make some people leave. I will say, I don't know if I'm going to get 7 out before Christmas, because that's A, the biggest one, and B, I'm already on break, and C, I edited this whole video in one sitting, so, which has been, I think, 3 hours, just about 3 hours. So, yeah. And there are some things I want to change about how I operate this channel, which I'll go into beginning January, I believe. So just keep an eye out for that. Stay creative. Love y'all. If y'all have any questions, server or comments, deuces.